and opens up the light-squared bishop and queen. E5 is a common response that establishes a presence in the center, controls d4, and opens up the queen and dark-squared bishop. Knight f3 develops the knight toward the center, attacks the e5 pawn, and prepares to castle. Knight c6 develops the knight toward the center, protects the pawn on e5, and eyes the d4 square. The Italian game starts with bishop c4, which attacks the f7 pawn and prepares to castle quickly. Knight f6 develops the knight and attacks the undefended e4 pawn. d3 protects the e4 pawn and the c4 bishop and allows the dark-squared bishop to develop. Bishop c5 develops the bishop, attacks the f2 pawn, and prepares castling. c3 controls the d4 square and opens the diagonal for the queen at the cost of occupying the queenside knight's natural developing square. a6 prepares the b5 pawn push and opens up the a7 square for the dark-squared bishop to retreat to. Castling kingside tends to be safer than queenside because the king is further from the center. This is a book move, meaning it follows established opening theory, played by top players for years. One of the best moves. Both kings are castled and ready for the middle game. This creates luft for the king, providing it an escape square. This creates a pawn chain, linked pawns that form a strong structure. Right on target. This creates luft for the king, providing it an escape square. White develops the knight and attacks the center. This offers to exchange pieces of equal value. This forces the opponent to double pawns. Takes back. A very strong play. A solid choice. One of the best moves. A very strong play. One more piece joins the action. This threatens to tactically win a pawn. This prevents the opponent from being able to tactically win a pawn. This is a fair move. This misses an opportunity to strike at the center with a pawn. Black develops further. This overlooks a better way to strike at the center with a pawn. Very precise. After all captures, this is an equal trade. Recaptures. This creates a backward pawn, weakening the pawn structure. This stops the opponent from being able to tactically win a pawn. There were worse moves, but also something much better. This misses an opportunity to connect rooks. This overlooks an opportunity to offer an equal trade of pieces. This connects the rooks, which helps them work together. This misses a better way to move a knight to safety. This activates a piece and simultaneously wins time by attacking a knight. A strong move, occupying an outpost square and keeping the initiative. This move puts the rook on a safer square. The rooks are coordinated and powerfully doubled on the file. This offers to exchange pieces of equal value. This is an equal trade. Takes back. This overlooks an opportunity to eventually win material. This moves the bishop to a more active square, making it gain scope. A solid choice. The piece finds a new active square. This protects the attacked pawn. Now white can't stop black from winning a pawn if they make the right moves. This is not the right idea. Sacrificing the knight was the right idea. This is the way to win a pawn. The knight finds a new active square. This defends a vulnerable knight by pinning one of its attackers. This defends a pawn that was under attack and had no defenders. This wins a tempo by threatening a rook and forcing it to move away. This moves the rook to safety. One of the best moves. White's piece has moved to a square with greater activity and control. Now white can't stop black from winning material if they make the right moves. That's fine. This misses a much better move. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. Recaptures. This move puts the rook on a safer square. This threatens to win material through a tactic. This is the strongest option. Now white can't stop black from winning material if they make the right moves. This stops the opponent from being able to win material through a discovered attack. This threatens to win a rook by revealing a check and attacking a piece at the same time. This stops the opponent from being able to win a rook by revealing a check and attacking a piece at the same time. After all captures, this is an equal trade. This is an equal trade. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. Takes back. This reveals a check on the king. This permits the opponent to eventually win material. This misses an opportunity to win material through a tactic. This steps away from the checking knight. After all captures, this is an equal trade. Recaptures. This moves the knight to safety. This evades the check from the knight. This move puts the knight on a safer square. This defends the attacked pawn. This is the only good move. An active king is critical in the endgame, and getting it off of the back rank is the first step. This wins a pawn by removing a key defender. Takes back. That was a free pawn. This evades the check from the knight. That pawn was free for the taking. Right on target. Pushing a passed pawn. The Sicilian defense controls the d4 square with c-pawn. Knight f3 develops the knight toward the center to prepare for a d4 pawn push, where the knight will recapture if black captures on d4. e6 creates an opening for the dark squared bishop and opens a new diagonal for the queen. d4 offers to trade the more important central d4 pawn for the c5 pawn in exchange for more control of the center and quick development. C takes d4 gives black 2 central pawns versus 1 central pawn for white. Knight takes d4 recaptures the pawn and activates the knight in return for having 1 central pawn versus black's 2 central pawns. a6 prepares for a b5 pawn push to gain space on the queen side and stops the white pieces from using the b5 square. g3 prepares to fianchetto the light-squared bishop on g2, where it will sit on the long diagonal, developing the knight and increasing influence in the center. This defends a pawn that was under attack and had no defenders. This overlooks an opportunity to kick a knight. Castling kingside tends to be safer than queenside because the king is further from the center. The opening development is progressing well. A very strong play. Out comes the bishop and into the battle. Right on target. Castling to the same side of the board is a more cautious approach. White develops the knight and attacks the center. The bishop moves forward into the game. Solid choice in the opening. This develops the bishop and gives it scope on the long diagonal. This offers an equal trade of pieces. There were worse moves, but also something much better. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. Takes back. One of the best moves. The piece finds a new active square. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. A solid choice. With the rook now developed as well, black has all pieces ready for action. A very strong play. Black's piece has moved to a square with greater activity and control. This threatens to win material through a tactic. This is not the right idea. That's fine. This is a fair move. Very precise. This threatens to capture a pawn and win material after the follow-on trades. This wins time by threatening a queen and forcing it to move away. This threatens to capture a pawn and win material after the follow-on trades. This stops the opponent from being able to tactically win a pawn. This kicks a knight. This overlooks an opportunity to take an outpost with a knight. There were worse moves, but also something much better. This misses a better way to add a defender to a vulnerable pawn. This creates luft for the king, providing it an escape square. One of the best moves. This is the strongest option. This is the only good move. This steps away from the checking knight. This misses an opportunity to strike at the center with a pawn. This misses an opportunity to increase a bishop's scope by moving it to a better square. A solid choice. This is the only move that works. This evades the check from the knight. This is not the right idea. The bishop is on its way to a better position. Right on target. This overlooks an opportunity to increase a bishop's scope by moving it to a better square. There were worse moves, but also something much better. This overlooks an opportunity to offer an equal trade of pieces. This misses an opportunity to increase a bishop's scope by moving it to a better square. This overlooks an opportunity to increase a bishop's scope by moving it to a better square. This is not the right idea. This offers an equal trade of pieces. Very precise. The knight is kicked by a pawn and must now move or be captured. This moves the knight to safety. This threatens to win material through a tactic. This blocks the attack on a rook that could have been captured. This is an equal trade. Takes back. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. This creates a pawn chain, linked pawns that form a strong structure. The piece finds a new active square. This wins material. This is the strongest option. Capturing that rook wins material. Recaptures. Right on target. A very strong play. This misses a better way to defend a pawn that was under attack. This is the only good move. This moves the bishop to a more active square, making it gain scope. Very precise. The game is still close to even, but white lost their winning advantage. This prevents the opponent from being able to eventually win material. This threatens to win material through a fork. This is the only move that works. This kicks a bishop. White will be winning material with that fork. This is the strongest option. That was a free rook. This is the only good move. takes back. This permits the opponent to eventually win a knight. This overlooks an opportunity to tactically win a knight. This overlooks an opportunity to win a tempo by threatening a knight. There were worse moves, but also something much better. Black keeps the momentum, moving the pawns forward. This blocks Black's pawn. That was a free pawn. This is the only move that works. This evades the check from the rook. This move puts the queen on a safer square. This offers to exchange pieces of equal value. This wins a tempo by threatening a queen and forcing it to move away. This moves the queen to safety. The game was close to equal, but now white has the advantage. This is the only good move. This threatens to take an outpost with the knight. This threatens to win a queen through a skewer. This misses an opportunity to defend a pawn that was under attack. This threatens to win a queen through a skewer. One of the best moves. This is the only move that works. This is the only good move. This evades the check from the queen. This defends the attacked knight. After all captures, this is an equal trade. The game was close to balanced, but now black is worse. This is the only move that works. This defends a knight that was under attack and had no defenders. Black was worse off, but now they are in a losing position. This threatens to win material through a tactic. Right on target. This is the only good move. This blocks the check from an opposing queen. This overlooks an opportunity to move a queen to safety. This permits the opponent to pin a knight to the king. This pins a knight to the king. This loses a pawn, but the position was losing no matter what. That pawn was free for the taking. This loses a knight. This wins material. This steps away from the checking knight. This continues down the road to checkmate. This steps away from the checking queen. This continues the checkmate threat. This blocks the check from an opposing rook. This continues down the road to checkmate. This evades the check from the queen. This continues the checkmate threat.